The topic of my coursework is terminological difficulties in translating text on aircraft construction, English and Ukrainian translation. Today, the field of aircraft construction is one of the leading branches of modernity, therefore, of the study of the terminological vocabulary of the context of aircraft construction acquires special importance. In recent years, the aviation industry has gained a lot of popularity and the need for a thorough study of each component. The rapid development of the international exchange of equipment, technology, personnel, and information has made translation an integral part of the aviation business. Sometimes the translator has certain problems when translating some aviation terms into his native language. Therefore, a scientist linguist must understand some nuance and peculiarities of the translation of such text. Today, we have the following tasks. To investigate the theoretical foundation of research, to consider what linguistics think about such concepts as translation, type of translation, term, and classification of terms, to form a selective set of terms for further study of problems, classify selected aviation terms, and analyze the difficulties that arose when translating the original language term. Scientific concepts of each sphere of activity are defined by special lexical units. Terms that form the basis of the language of science and technology. Terminology is the study of terms. The word terminology translate from Latin terminus, mean limit, and one of the characteristics of aircraft construction literature is the extensive use of terminology that reflects the conceptual details in the field. When the creating new terms, the linguists face a problem how to convey the new term. New term is in the native language. The language of technical direction forms its own word formation subsystem. Word formation subsystem exciting words in the language with a new lexical meaning. Also, the word form is one of the most important sources of enriching the lexical stock of the language. Morphological and non-morphological can be distinguished among the main ways of creating terms. The first includes the following methods of creation: affixal, these are respectively methods suffixal, prefixal, suffixal, and prefixal, and affixal. Word formation and abbreviation. The second includes lexical, semantic, and morphological scientific methods, lexical semantic methods, and semantic derivation consists in obtaining the terminological meaning of words from the common vocabulary. And morphological scientific methods consists in the creation of terminological phrases for the clarity of this or that scientific definition. All terminological units can be divided into simple terms, complex, and phrasal terms. Simple consists of one word. Complex or compounds consist of two words and are written together or with a pattern. All terms are divided into general scientific, interdisciplinary, and highly specialized. Consider general scientific terms. These terms are used in various fields of knowledge and belong to the scientific style of language. These terminological units form the conceptual fund of sciences and are used very often. general concepts about translation. The word translation is clear and common for everyone. It exists in almost every language in various contexts. Translating a work, making a translation, printing a translation, in the process of translation, etc. Translation is a reproduction of the original by means of another language while maintaining unity. Unity of content and form. According to types of translation, according to the content, three types of translation are distinguished. Literally, the translation of works of literature, the main purpose of the work is to achieve an aesthetic effect, to create art. Social-political characteristic future is all or written reproduction of social and political materials in another language, speeches and statements of political figures, interviews, press conference, etc. And specialized terms. Translation is used to exchange scientific and technical information between people who communicate in different language. By form, translation is divided into oral and written. Interpretation can be simultaneous or consecutive. According to the method of translation, a distinction is made between literal and adequate translation. There are different types, there are different degrees of approximation to the original. Actual translation, reassigning, adaptation, protection. By volume, the translation is divided into complete, abstract, and motivated. One of the main tasks when translation text on aircraft construction is choosing the appropriate way to translate a term. A common method of translating terms is to find the equivalent of the original language term in the translation language. And we can see the example. Special attention should be paid to motivated terms phrases, which can significantly complicate the translation process. For an adequate translation of such phrases, it is impossible to apply a literal type of translation. Despite the fact that individual words of these phrases have equivalents in the Ukrainian language, control roads, графітний стержень, plain wise, лещат неповоротній, and plain loop also. Translation transformation when creating one component and two-component English terms for aircraft construction. Transformation is the relationship between the original and final language expressions and the replacement in the process of translation, one form of expression by another. Some types of transformation are distinguished: transcribing, transliteration, tracing, and descriptive translation. Translation of composite tone. This is typical for models of combined adjectives with adjectives, nouns, verbs, as well as compounds that contain preposition, pronouns, and participles. The root lexeme morphemes after, down, off, out, over, self, and up are involved in the formation of composite English aviation terms. Example: work price changing apparatus, пристрій автоматичної заміни заготовок, overbooking, надлишкове бронювання. Translation of terms that are formed using abbreviation. Abbreviated terms during translation are either debridged and transferred by the full names of the term or transferred by their corresponding Ukrainian abbreviations. North Atlantic Council, Рада Північно-Атлантичного альянсу. NCOA, National Advisory Committee on Oceans and Atmosphere, Національний консультативний комітет з океанів та атмосфери. Thank you for your attention.